Hey, True Believers England team here, and I'm with not the real Dr. Venkman. I'm with Dalton, the authenticator.
Hey, I'm a little bit annoyed that took you as long as it took you, but
dude,
okay.
We were talking a little bit backstage. I have been sick this week. I've actually tried to take this week off. Yesterday, I don't even think I came onto the internet for more than maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Usually we do a live stream on Friday night. So I said, you know what, let's jump on. Let's talk about something interesting. And I found an article talking about how CG comics are being shadow banned off of Indiegogo. But the thing is, excuse me, guys, I'm going to be doing this all day.
Tonight, he's quarantined.
The fact that, yeah, I'm quarantined, right? The fact that I'm actually up a little bit to do this is amazing because I've been in bed for the entire week. Maybe sometimes I'll jump on, get mad at Twitter, say something stupid, and then move on. By the way, Twiddles, world Twiddles. Okay. That, by the way, is a quote from one of my favorite Christmas movies called Scrooged. He brings his girlfriend in front of the TV cameras. Claire, the world, Claire. So yeah. Hey, Dark Gambler, what's up? How you doing, Eloise? So I found this article. It's written by John Delarose on Bounding into Comics. Now, one of the things I do like about Bounding into Comics, I know a lot of people don't like them. It's fine. I get it. I'm not here to shill for them. Sometimes they make mistakes. There was a big old argument. We have a video about it where I disagreed with them. They did a stupid article about House of the Dragons, about how it was only as good as the start of the Game of Thrones, the biggest freaking TV show of all time.
Yeah, they're not above being stupid occasionally,
yeah,
but at least they're stupid in a unique perspective as opposed to.
But one thing I will give props, if they are reporting on an article or if they're commenting on an article, they'll share the article. That way you can go read it for yourself. You do, and I'm that kind of person. I don't make up my mind based on, oh my gosh, that one source told me this. You know,
someone said that someone said X, Y, or Z thing. Therefore,
Chris Bolton sent me a DM on Twitter. What's up? Oh, okay. Shoot, Chris. Okay, so Chris actually, gosh darn it, not today. You can't have a problem today. So I'm driving down my car, driving down the road in my car. The air conditioner's out. And it's after I delivered all the boxes and I rolled down all the windows and the receipt.
Yeah.
Normally, yes. Normally, like right on top of my desk, I've got receipts from. I'm that guy. I keep all the freaking receipts for everything. So yeah, this is the one.
Improvised wind tunnel.
And of course, it's a time when somebody needs it. Hey, Nutty Wolfie, what's up? So anyway. I read this article from John Delarose, and it's from Bounding into Comics, not based on anything else. It's just, okay, let's talk about this because I thought we were over it. You know, it's like really, it's a thing now. You're going to be doing the, you know, Indiegogo has been the crowdfunding platform to the point where I do know for a while, I don't know if they still do this, but for a while, Comicsgate would insult people who went to, what's that, Kickboxer? Kickstarter, exactly. Yeah, that's what I said. And it's like, okay, so they're literally shilling for Indiegogo. And then then you come up with this, says, for the last 5 years, Indiegogo has been the haven for Comicsgate projects, a website where creators felt that they could create their books and sell to their fans without fear of political motivated tampering with their comic book campaigns. And that's how it has been. Like I said, Indiegogo, there's a big freaking platform there. Stop this whole ESG score thing. These businesses are full of shit because at a certain point, and it's coming. You can already see people fighting back. This BlackRock thing that gives this ESG score where you got to be woke to the point where you lose money. Companies are finding out.
We only deal with the valid companies around these parts, yeah?
And CG...
You do not have the appropriate papers.
CG has been the biggest freaking shills for Indiegogo. They truly have, to the point where they insult if you go to Kickstarter.
Yeah, no, Indiegogo basically could pay most of CG to simp for Indiegogo and not get as good coverage as they've been getting. But
so it goes, the safety may have been an illusion, as there have been signs the San Francisco-based crowdfunding company had troubles with right-leaning creators for years. That illusion might have finally unraveled, as Indiegogo seems to have now shadow banned several campaigns from Comicsgate creators. Now, he mentions Mike Barron. Mike Barron, as far as I know, has never actually been Comicsgate. It's kind of like calling Chuck Dixon Comicsgate.
Yeah,
they were blackballed away from the mainstream, and of course they've talked to us because we're their audience. Look, if you're mainstream comics and you're putting Chuck Dixon and Mike Barron down for their politics, you're not their audience. They're going to go to where their audience is, and that's people who have associated with Comicsgate, or in my case at one time have been a part of it, walked away. I don't have anything to do with them anymore.
Yeah, no, and that's the problem, is if the schism hadn't happened, where it was the reformist Comicsgaters like myself and Englandine who wanted our big two characters back in order, and the crowdfunding set that wanted to basically operate as a shadow industry, if that schism hadn't happened, you could basically loop us all under the group of Comicsgate. But unfortunately, the schism happened. EBS played his whole Robespierre routine, the King of Comics routine, and now here we are. So,
yeah.
Man.
So, yeah, it's kind of weird to call Mike Barron Comicsgate. I
like
don't
calling
think...
Tim Comicsgate at this point.
Yeah, just because they showed up on an interview to be in an interview on...
They're independent, non-conformist comic book creators. That doesn't make them Comicsgate by default, though.
So, anywho, let's continue. Or let's see, retaliation for Musk owning Twitter, right? The whole "you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain" was Harvey Dent. Yeah. On House of the Dragon, if they don't... Oh, whoa. Okay, I'm still way behind, but I'm still watching. I'm not... I don't want any story points, so please.
He is once again quarantining himself.
Yes, I am quarantine. Yeah, I know the last episode's already out, and I finally got Gail to start watching it again. Mr. Del Rose seems to miss punctuation keys on his keyboard. Let's see. Mike Barron isn't. I agree. Yes, okay. Mike and Chuck seem to do their own thing, which is awesome. Mike Barron and Chuck is not Comicsgate, says Ahsoka, and Juan De La Rose is not necessarily hampered by nuances, I think Nutty Wolf is saying.
Yeah, no, that's always been a problem with him. I remember back when he said something stupid about how Comicsgate was intrinsically linked to Christian values, and we all just kind of went, "Are you high? Have you been helped?"
No, but I do appreciate that a lot of people saw the movement for what they needed it to be. So if he found it that way, then to him, absolutely it was. Then this was a thing that happened. It was a thing for everyone. I got criticized for saying that it was in fact just a consumer movement. As you said, we're trying to try to get back the big two to being what they used to be by showing them that we were the consumers. Of course, some people straight up saw it as soon as Zach put out his book Jawbreakers, or the first one that came out. When he announced it, all of a sudden it only became about we got to make our own comics, kind of thing.
The original impetus behind that side of it was always when you would criticize the comic creators, they would say, "Well, if you think it's so easy to make comics, then make your own." And so as a tactic, we all just kind of went, "Yeah, okay." Well, but unfortunately, there was a subset of what is now CG that forgot we were doing it as a tactic to get the clout in the big two back and decided, you know what, screw the big two, let them both burn. I know they've been around for 100 years, but that doesn't matter at all. Derp. And
well,
now here we are.
The worst kept secret of original Comicsgate was that was Richard's plan all along. He wanted to create a huge audience that he could then advertise comic books to. That was his end goal. We heard about it. It was talked about in our DM. We had a private DM with Captain Cummings, Doug Ernst, and myself. And yeah, he spoke about it more than a couple of times. So it was always in his plan that that's where he wanted to go. And I kind of figured that he would take the entire movement in that way because let's face it, I was either the low man or sitting side by side with Doug Ernst on that particular one. Captain Cummings and definitely Diversity in Comics were the big dogs.
Yeah, and you guys were kind of the also-rans, not to step on any toes here.
Well, me and Doug were not exactly extreme personalities. You know, I mean, of course I do my share of yelling.
It wasn't about the game for you. It was actually about the, hey, I want to
win. I wanted to win. And so I knew that there had to be a little bit of decorum in order to win. We had to show them as the crazy people. Unfortunately,
again, EBS and crew came in and Robespierre'd the crap out of it.
It wasn't so much him. Even before EVS popped up, we managed to attract enough people that were.
Yeah, DNC used to be quite uncouth, but I don't want to blame him.
I didn't blame him. You're bringing up there were others that came in that would share. Pornographic images of like Kamala Khan, and they were highlighting pictures of Heather Antos and focusing on the crotch. Do you see any pussy? And it's like, oh God, guys, you know,
you're not helping.
Yeah,
this is why we can't have nice things.
It's one thing. I mean, are we a movement that we're going to get together and we're just going to throw out insults and we're going to be as crass as possible, or is there an end goal? I actually thought there was an end goal. Unfortunately, crass is more fun, I guess.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the other aspect of it is, what does a victory matter if you become just as bad as the people you're replacing? Is always been the thing. It's like, what does it matter that we get rid of Heather Antos if we just replace her with EVS ultimately?
Yeah.
So
Nutty Wolf, I don't know exactly when Ernst made the decision. I don't think his decision was based on Doug's plan. I think, but I had heard rumblings of Soulfinder long before he actually did it. So, but I couldn't honestly say when. Aloise, the viewer, says War Campaign really messed everything up. That was weird. I actually didn't know about War Campaign until the night of, the night or the day before we had that big debate. And I started when everybody heard that I was going to be debating EVS and the future of Comicsgate. That's what they said it was going to be about. It was going to be about the like where we go from here. And I actually thought, okay, well, cool. It'll be like a
honest discussion, but
it'll be like a war room. You know, we're going to say, okay, this is what we should do. And I truly thought that it would work as
you didn't realize it was internet blood sports, basically, which is what it ultimately was. It was
I wasn't interested in. I got challenged by Yellow Flash for a while to do blood sports with them, and I was no. Of course, Yellow Flash is getting 100,000 views a video, so okay. But I heard about the War Campaign like the day before. A whole bunch of people just DM one right after the other. Oh, the War Campaign is threatening people. The War Campaign, and I asked, okay, guys, you got to give me receipts because I don't know who these people are, and I'm just hearing what you're saying, you know. And they sent me all these, and I was like, holy fuck, these guys are nut bars. So that's
The
what I
war
heard about.
campaign remind me of the hyenas in the song "Be Prepared" from The Lion King with
Okay.
with EBS as Scar. That's basically what the war campaign were.
I'd rather look at Heather than Evan, says David. Well, she is a pretty lady. You can't take that away from her. She is a pretty lady. Let's see. In Head by Far Better Star Wars comics, the big two haven't been that good since like the mid 2000s. I would say, yeah, that's about when.
I would go so far as to say even like early 2000s, because 2007 was One More Day, World War Hulk, and Civil War, and none of those storylines were very good.
I would say this. I've said that Captain America's been dead since he got shot in the head. I think Marvel has been. It's like as goes Captain America, so goes Marvel. And they've never had a Captain America since. They never had a Captain America that stood for American ideals. And this is being run
that was
by
recognizable as the character is the other thing.
This is being run by people who do not truly understand what America is, and therefore they hate it because all they know it to be is what they've been explained to by college professors and MSNBC and CNN. It's like there's this one guy, what is that called? EFAP? I can't believe that's a word now. EFAP? It sounds like electronic masturbation to me.
Every frame of pause is what it stands for.
There's this guy, he used to call himself Adversity in Comics. I did a video on him, and he was talking about, well, they think being an SJW is a bad thing, but we're fighting. No. Because what he mentioned was justice. Nobody's against justice. We're against social justice. Once you put a modifier in front of justice, it transforms, and it is not the same thing.
Especially when you start capitalizing it as though it's a proper gosh darn noun.
And of course, what is woke? Well, woke is being socially aware. No, it is not. Anybody can be socially aware. Woke is, of course, when you treat people by their race accordingly. I mean, or not accordingly. Just that's your go-to, I should say.
It's the euphemism game. It's just like in the old days with the term family values. Nobody could possibly be against family values. And also, by the way, you can't be in favor of gay marriage and support family values.
One of the reasons why I sometimes call out the black pills, the Gary and his crew, Ryan Kinnell, Joshua, what's his name? The dude with no face.
Mahler.
What is the guy's name? The Geeks and Gamers.
Jeremy.
I always get that wrong, but he's the quartering, same name as the quartering. I should always put those together. One thing I always call them on about is that it's not being woke isn't having a woman or a black guy or whatever in your project. Being woke is making that project only about that character being a woman or being black.
Yeah.
And that's where they get it wrong. That's one of the reasons why it seems like you can't give a black guy a comic book starring a black guy. But we have gone way away from this article.
Yeah, but no, I just wanted, before we put this particular part to bed, my distinction was and always has been, and originally this was everybody's distinction. It's the same mistake the SJWs make. The SJWs think that you can't be a diversity category without being ideologically that identity. And ironically, it seems like a lot of the black-pilled anti-social justice types have bought into that lie, that in order to be anti-woke, you actually have to be against the identities themselves instead of the ideological construct of those identities.
There you go. Hey, Doug, how you doing, man? Doug's in the audience. Like I said, I heard stories of Soul Finder long before it actually came out, but I just didn't know the timeline. So there you go. And hello to Doug. What's up? But yeah, it did get ridiculous, Dark Admiral. Let's see. EBS didn't believe people about war campaign. It was only when they went after that Star Wars girl, someone unconnected to comics, that he believed people. Yeah, they were pretty nuts though. After the big debate, I had all of them on. We talked for like 5 hours. I stayed up all night. Basically, it was, if you thought I was wrong, by all means, let me know why. And there were a couple of them that seemed like you could have a conversation. There were a couple of them that absolutely would never have. There was one sketch comedy, something like that.
Sketch therapy. You nicknamed him sketch comedy.
That's it. Okay,
afterwards.
yeah. I thought he was so ridiculous. I called him sketch comedy, but his name was actually what?
Sketch therapy.
Sketch therapy. Right. He's a dumbass. Yeah, but he served. You know what? My dad served in Vietnam. I have met Vietnam vets. Some of them were awesome.
I'm pretty sure with regards.
My brother and my cousin were in Desert Storm. You know what I know about some people who were in Desert Storm? Some are awesome, some are assholes. I'm sorry. Sorry that this,
and sometimes PTSD does silly things to your brain. And I think that might be one of those.
Was a douche. All right. Comicsgate only happened as to late as it did, and it was too late if the internet had been more accessible than before. Yeah, that might actually have been something there, Asaka.
If Comicsgate had happened around the time of One More Day, this would never have been a thing.
Also, I do believe, once again, we let the crazies steer the ship for a little bit. And as we did, what happened was there was Go. Don't attack my goddamn hand. Just go. All right. Now we're in a fight, he and I. All right. So anywho, yeah, we kind of let the crazies steer the ship for a while. And then at the same time, Ethan took over, and we were no longer talking to Marvel. Oh, and this is what you would get. Oh, well, you can't talk to them. Don't even try. But by not trying, we let loose of the characters that we loved. And for a little bit, it worked. For a little bit, we worked. All the woke comics were being canceled. They were listening for just a little bit. And then
because they had to.
And then we let go of them. And that was it. We actually exiled ourselves into an off corner, kind of like the SJWs would have wanted us to. And I'm not saying stop playing their game, but I am kind of saying we played right into their hands by making ourselves irrelevant to the conversation, and that was a problem. Well, and once again, I will point out that we're far away from the article here. So anyway,
yeah, but steering back into the point.
Let's see. I don't know about if they can replace the big two, but I would love to see Marvel and DC die. If they do, someone will bring them back better later. I kind of, before I would tell Black Maggot, you know what, I don't agree, but I kind of do nowadays. When I hear that, well, they're going to be, what is that, where they licensing out comic books to other places. Good. Thank you. Could you do that, please? Could you please get Batman into the hands of somebody who is not, or I guess actually it would be the X-Men. Get it away from Teeny Howard. Get these comic books away from the people who do not respect them and into the hands of somebody who does, please.
Yeah, DC, if you need a go-to magic character guy, I will pay you. That's the point where I'm at right now. Like,
well, that's exactly what licensing is.
I will pay you to let me fix your characters for you at this point, please.
One thing we know is that the people who are now charged with taking care of the characters we love, they do not respect them. And that's what, I mean, look at what we got with the She-Hulk show. They came out and admitted that entire show was made out of hate and spite. Yeah. Why are they in control of these? If you do not respect the character enough to work on a goddamn show, oh, well, we can't write courtroom scenes, but we're going to make this a courtroom drama. Then you need to not write the courtroom scenes. Maybe Sensational She-Hulk, maybe especially the Dan Slott run, is not what you need to be writing. Maybe what you need to do is introduce us in the first 12 shows, Savage She-Hulk.
Yeah, if Kevin wanted this to be a courtroom drama, then perhaps someone should have mentioned to him, maybe we should get the dozen or 24 writers that have been doing Law and Order for literally 2 or 3 decades at this point. Maybe we should have gotten one of them on to consult. And maybe, and here's just an idea, and this is the difference between woke and not woke for those paying attention at home. There's a difference between a female character and a feminist character. The She-Hulk of the comics was a female character, and a strong one at that. The She-Hulk of the show was an ideologically feminine character who was basically an ideologically feminist character who was basically the avatar of cynical middle-aged bitterness. and gender studies talking points, and that's the problem.
Well, there you go. One slick dude is giving us the definition. Woke definition: a state of awareness only achieved by those dumb enough to find offense in everything but their own bad behavior. That makes sense. But
not exactly a complete definition, but I can co-sign that.
That's a woke person, but what is a woke piece of art?
What is the woke concept?
We talked about MCU the other day, and I was talking about how just putting up MCU makes it seem as if you're against women in the Marvel universe. And of course, I don't think Gary is against female characters. He's been around and reading comic books forever and a day. So this guy has read some female comic books and helped to make these female comic book characters popular. It is a catchy phrase, and that's the reason why I think it's being used. But it doesn't help your case if you're trying to say that you're not misogynist to put that in there, because saying MCU is like a statement that just the presence of women. It doesn't say MCU displays more bad writing, or how about they can't. There is no good writer in the MCU, meaning the female area of the MCU.
It refuses to differentiate again between female characters and feminist characters. Like, for example, they flipped all kinds of shit over America Chavez in Multiverse of Madness, and Anglentine and I both, we did a review on this that was like an hour long. We both were sitting there going, given what they had to work with from the comics, because America Chavez is the worst and most social justice character probably ever as yet, given what they had to do with the comics, they took off all the rough edges, they didn't make her an ideological mouthpiece, and they didn't have her spout cringy Spanglish. So
nor did she say holy menstruation, which I actually find that a fault in the movie. But yeah, she was actually better in the MCU than she was in the comics.
But they didn't pay attention to the ways that the movies had gone through the hoops to fix the character. They only paid attention, well, she's there, that must mean they're making her the same character that they did before, when that means you weren't paying attention or didn't differentiate between the character in the comics and the character in the movie, because they're not the same character.
Ahsoka is saying that didn't sketch therapy get caught with illegal stuff? I have no idea. That wouldn't surprise me. After a while, I was like, you know what? I don't want to listen to these people anymore. I don't want to see these people anymore. And I started trimming the fat on the Twitterverse. So yeah, I stopped. And it became to the point where it was, hey, did you hear that this member of the war campaign said this? I was like, okay, now I need to silence that and that and that and that. I was done with them.
The last Comicsgate video I saw, and it made me die laughing, but not for the reason that the person who made the video wanted me to laugh. EVS made a video when Hulkling and Wiccan got married. Mm-hmm. And he was spinning a narrative about how it was woke. And I'm like, dude, Hulkling and Wiccan have been gay since the characters were introduced and made a center stage set of characters in 2013, since the Children's Crusade. The fact that they got gay married isn't the wokeifying of those characters. It's a natural character progression of those characters, because those characters have always been gay. It's not an Iceman situation or anything like that.
Thank you to Doug Ernst here. He says, Anglentine, you're one of the few legit historians of everything, because you were there since the start, whether or not some people like that. And that is the truth of the matter. Or a truth of the matter anyway. As far as the YouTube version of this, like Doug Ernst had been going after Dan Slott since birth. But when we were on YouTube, there was a few, and you had definitely, I would say, Captain Cummings was probably the one who really kind of led the charge on this. Then you had people like Howler Mouse did a video on it, but he never wanted to be a part of it. So he kind of pulled himself away really quick, because he noticed that his channel was becoming that. He really wanted, kind of like I did too late. He kind of wanted to talk about comics. I want to talk about the comics I love.
His biggest contribution to the movement was creating you, basically.
Basically, yeah. But so he stepped away from it. And then I remember I actually was very happy with this, that I was perusing through some videos, and there's this guy with a very small channel, and he's reviewing America Chavez, which I just put out a video, and I'm like, okay, let's see what this guy has to say. And he's turning and he says, well, I watched Englenteen's video over I Love Comics, and I was like, hey guys, I got referenced. It's by a smaller channel, but there you go. And that was Diversity in Comics in one of his earlier videos before he took off. And so we were doing videos just basically anytime the SJW stuff popped up in a comic, let's talk about it. And I remember there was a Nerd something or other that came out with a video that both Captain Cummings and I did on the same day. We released it within an hour of each other. And it was exactly the same to the halfway point, and then he went one way and I went the other way. You would think that we handed each other the same script. So I made a video joking around, and I said, okay, we're all not the same person, and the people I highlight were myself, Diversity in Comics, and Captain Comics. And I mentioned Captain Frugal in it and a few other people around. And the video
Comics Division was there by that point too, right? He
was there, but I actually said, if I forgot anyone, please let me know in the comments. And it was like, no, it wasn't Comics Division. It was Doug Ernst. Everybody was saying, you need to check out Doug Ernst. So I watched one of his videos, and it was like, the f am I doing? Doug Ernst was making some awesome goddamn videos. I was making basically this. I was making complaint videos, and Doug Ernst is going, well, if you look at this panel right here, and fuck you, Dan Slott. But he never, of course, said that because he's, Doug. But I really liked his stuff. I thought it was very in depth, the way he would go after an issue or something like that. And he actually inspired me to do better with my America Chavez videos. America Chavez built this freaking channel.
Yeah, that's how we met, because there was an issue, I think it was issue 8, where D-list Grandmaster ripoff Arcade somehow got Mindless Ones to be the referees in an issue, and I just about lost my shit, because not even Dormammu can directly control the Mindless Ones as per the classic lore, and this was basically the rant that I left on English's comment section, and that's how we met. It's a small world after all.
Nutty Wolf saying the only She-Hulk runs that really stood the test of time have been the Stan Lee original story and the John Byrne runs. Yeah, that's true. Actually, I'm gonna challenge you a little bit on this one. It's kind of like everybody's saying that they love the Sean Connery Bond, but what they love about him is the stuff that goodness gracious, the third guy, the one,
Timothy Dalton.
No, he was the fourth guy. Never For Your Eyes Only, Roger Moore.
There we go.
Time you say, it's like people say they love Sean Connery, but when they mention what they love about him, they mention the stuff that Roger Moore did.
And they just give Sean the credit.
Yeah, it's like the whole superhero lawyer thing. That's more Dan Slott than it was John Byrne. But that's just me. That's just me. Hello to Jay Lucen, and you're welcome, John. At some point, we'll get back to the article, I'm sure. But yeah, thanks for pointing that stuff out. Let's see. Hello to everybody. I'm trying to move forward. I noticed that I have missed a whole bunch of comments and such. So I'm going to get down to the bottom there. So I only saw the return of Captain Cummings. His later days videos were undecipherable. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I do remember we had him on for a little bit, and it seemed like, okay, cool. Yeah, Captain's back, and he said he's simmered down now, settled down a little bit, and then all of a sudden he just he went all over the place and kind of went crazy again. He is a weird spirit. I wouldn't mind meeting him in real life, but sometimes he definitely rubbed me. He would do stuff like if we would be okay. But as soon as I said something he didn't like, it would be like a straight on bulldog attack. I never quite understood that. Never quite understood that. I'll tell you what, Nightwolf jumped in on that particular grenade more than a couple of times for me.
Yeah, and it seems like Nightwolf is off kind of now doing his VTuber thing, and I'm kind of sorry we lost him, because I really like Nightwolf. Nightwolf is good people. But now he's off doing VTube instead of doing.
God bless him for it too. I hope he's far successful. He's a good kid. 35-year-old kid. We also
although
used to have
his voice is perpetually in 16-year-old mode, and I'm not sure. I'm sure I'm not the first person to notice that. I think at this point it's a running gag with Nightwolf is everyone can never guess his age because his voice is so much younger than the rest of them, apparently.
Yeah. Chrononaut saying we also used to have Thunderdome. I also had a bigger audience who was more willing to jump in and play the games. But actually what happened to Thunderdome is what happened to Jeopardy. After a while, you get more people who like to watch than to play. Thunderdome was a game. It was where basically I would say something along the lines of who's the best Justice Leaguer? And the two contestants would have to say right away who they wanted to and then
it would become a debate, basically.
And we would have debates on who is the best Justice League member, and it would go everywhere. We had best butt, best boobs, we had the most powerful. I debated my brother over who was the best Hulk, Gogurt or Bruce Banner.
And you got stuck defending Amadeus Cho, but you actually won.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like the whole thing wasn't about, okay, we all love Bruce Banner more than we did Gogurt Hulk. Could you make a better argument?
Yeah, the actual contents of the argument. I remember being the judge on several of those, and people would really get annoyed at me because I would treat it like an actual philosophical discussion.
Yeah, we're trying to have fun here, kiddo.
Yeah, but you're asking someone with a philosophy background to judge things on logical and argumentative grounds. What did you think would happen?
Right. John's saying that he liked Phil, but he goes off the rails, and I wish he didn't because he's knowledgeable about comics. Phil Cummings, he would... he is somebody like myself. I've got a bookshelf full of books on comic books, and Phil has very, very many of the same, if not more than I do. I've learned of some from him. So yeah, he's got a really extensive knowledge about the comic book industry, about the history of the comic book industry as well. And yeah, I would love to hear videos. I would love to see videos like that from Phil at some point. I had forgotten about Thunderdome. I haven't. I would love to bring that back, but I'm so afraid of like, okay, so who wants to play Thunderdome? Crickets.
Yeah, there just aren't enough of us in this particular niche anymore. Because between rotating for the contestants, which we would probably have to do, and rotating for the judges, which we would probably have to do, it's one of those things of like, at that point,
hey,
it's sort of...
What's up? How you doing? He's the greatest leader of Comicsgate. Hey.
Oh, Jay.
Are you okay? What's up? What's up? You're all stretched out. What are you hearing? What's going on? You got to chill out a little bit, all right? Here you go. No. Okay, you want right there. All right.
The bird is continuing to be bird-brained. Not that anyone is surprised.
There you go. No? Okay, there you go. That happens to Elizabeth here. And anytime she opens the door, he thinks, is Mama home? And so he gets all excited about. Let's see. Mike S. Miller gone to join a different group from Comicsgate, the Iron Age of Media. It's another alternative media group that does more than comics and doesn't have EVS. Mike's friend of the channel. I like him, and he's welcome anytime. I'm actually a part of his group too, but they do a lot of art stuff, and I can't draw a stick figure. So when they're doing their, he invited me. It's just that I don't see me offering a lot about any particular topic when they're talking artist stuff. I would love to be on with Mike. He's a great guy. Jay Lucens's like, hey, I'm in. I'll do Comic Book Thunderdome. maybe I should throw out a sign-up sheet or something. See if we can't revitalize it, because we had some good guests. Just some guy was on it. We had Gary. We had, of course, we had us. You know, all of us did.
Yeah.
But there were some really interesting debates that went on. Gary at Nerdrotic versus the fiery redhead.
Feisty
fangirl. Yeah. That was a great debate. That was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Feisty. I feel really bad
Politics.
Because apparently somebody ticked her off, and now she doesn't want anything to do with us. And I feel really bad because I remember many a time where she would be dealing with her MS, which she had, and we would all sit in Discord, you know, trying to help her out. And now apparently she just doesn't want anything to do with us. And I feel bad because it's clearly not anything I would have done or said, but I still feel like I take part of the blame because, you know, if you're gonna blacklist all of us, then there must have been something so bad that you don't mind throwing everyone else under the bus, and that's sad.
Yeah. But the thing is we would do it in 30-second increments as far as the debate is concerned. So it would be like, I would say to Dalton, who's the greatest magic user, Dr. Strange or Dr. Fate?
Dr. Fate. Okay,
so now you have to argue that, and I've got to argue Dr. Strange. And it would be like, okay, why is Dr. Fate the best? Go. And I would have my my timer, and as soon as it hit 30, okay, stop. And then the person would have a chance to rebuttal, and then another. I think I gave another 10 or 15 seconds. And
the biggest problem was oftentimes once somebody got the chance to rebuttal, you spent most of your time countering their argument than you did defending your own, and sometimes that would bite you in the ass.
Well, yeah, it really did, where you had to make a decision. It was like, and one of the great things that kept you on your toes as far as the debate was concerned, because you don't have 5, 6, 8, 10 minutes to figure out what you're about to say. It really was spur of the moment, and some people got scared off on that one. Sorry, but I thought it was fun, and a lot of people did for a while. Like I said, we had a great we did that for I think 15 episodes, and
it was something like that, because I remember being the judge on I think at least 12 of them.
Evil Black Cat is telling us the truth. Jared Stevens is the best Dr. Fate. I would like to see some tier lists of superhero live action shows. Ahsoka, I think we did one, but yeah, we'll get back to that. This last week, I have been sick, and I have been sleeping, in all honesty, for the most of it. I did get everybody's books out. I made sure of that. So they're on their way. Well, at least for those that paid and said, don't, send them along. There was only like 3 or 4 people, but everything's on its way. But as far as it would be like, I would wake up, got to take Elizabeth to work, come home, have lunch, fall asleep, wake up, maybe do a little bit of work. Like I've got lined up 6 or 8 videos for whenever I have the energy and the time to do it. And then, because I've got ready right now, I've got Werewolf by Night, Dr. Fate, Johnny Thunder, basically the cast of the JSA and the All-Star Squadron. I figured this month I wanted to do kind of a spotlight on them. Black Adam put me in the mood.
Yeah, because synergy.
Yeah.
Let's not pretend like the synergy wasn't a motivating factor here.
A lot of people scared to debate, says John, or have different opinions these days. If you have a different take, it's like do not associate. Yeah, we kept politics off the table, but unfortunately, politics caused a divide in the group as well. We did have some that just couldn't take the fact that I am very openly a conservative. I've been told, don't do it. I've been told by people who hang out on the channel, you shouldn't let people know that you're I'm a conservative and I voted for Trump. If he runs, I'll vote for him again.
Yeah, and by the way,
and some people couldn't handle that and they took off.
Yeah, and by the way, just to prove that this isn't just, a right-wing echo chamber, I am a straight up classical liberal / social democrat, and I never had a problem with anyone in this community for the most part.
According of course to people on the left, I should hate you because you're gay.
And crippled.
Undead Quinn, I saw a video. I wanted to talk. I would love to talk to her, but unfortunately, I haven't had the chance. But Undead Quinn saying even Nerdette is getting burnt out with YouTube due to being demonetized. She got her shit struck. Now remember, I'm shadow banned. If you look at there was a point where you look at the analytics. I was actually there, and then all of a sudden it was like the next freaking week, boom. It wasn't like a slow, okay, people are getting tired of your stuff. It looked like the voting on the 2020 election. Oh, Joe Biden's losing. Oh, look at that. There you go. Except for an opposite. It was like right off a freaking cliff. And now I was told that I had been flagged, but they couldn't find the video that had me flagged on it. So I don't actually know why it's happened. Why am I shadow banned when if Comicsgate are causing all sorts of trouble? Because I don't know. But I got flagged for something. Now I do know that I test boundaries, and that could be it. There are some people who do not do sometimes what I do.
If I may be the tiniest bit tinfoil hat for a second, I think the reason they shadow banned you in particular is because you don't play the edgelord game, because you do sound reasonable, because you are winning the argument through being a decent person focused. Honestly, I think it's better for their argument to focus on people like Gary, Mueller, Rags, and those sorts of people. Because if they can point to people like Gary and Geeks and Gamers and Mahler and say, look, they don't distinguish between feminism and women. They actually do conflate feminism and women all the time. They don't make the distinction. Then that's their argument proved. Whereas if they focus on somebody like you or me, we will go out of our way to spend 5 minutes distinguishing between, we don't have a problem with female characters, we have a problem with ideologically feminist characters. And they don't like that. Because they don't think we should be able to do that.
Evil Black Cat saying, we told you to make a channel for the auction and not talk about politics. There you say you get more bidders, some of whom may be wacky leftist talks as much. Yeah, I do, however, I've never shut the door on the wacky liberals. I might argue with you, I might debate you, I might disagree, but yeah, I have heard that the tide is turning. It's now, because we were told, of course, you want to make a 10 to 20 minute video. Okay, nowadays it's 5. Do a 1 minute video for a short. And if you can, do a 1 minute video of a short for a short that hooks up to a 5 to 6 minute video that you can attach them to. Because they used to actually be 2 separate things, the shorts and the longer videos. But yeah, you're right, John. I do have to shift towards that. Rags is gay and a furry. He distinguishes between that stuff, says Ahsoka.
It might not be the same. I know there are a couple of channels that call themselves Rags. I'm not sure. It's the one that shows up on EFAB all the time was the one I was referring to. The one that's also buddies with Sargon, or was at one point.
Oh, I have to ask about this. Aloise is saying, you're too good, man, defending Nerdette after she yelled at me? Or was I misinterpreting it? She got demonetized because she was posting content that wasn't her own. Yeah, okay. So she was posting the courtroom scenes and all that from the Johnny Depp. Is that why she got in trouble? I know a couple of months ago I had a difficult time getting notifications when you went live and had the auctions going despite ringing the bell. For a little bit, what I would do would be I would start the auction an hour early. So hopefully by the time that it was 8 o'clock on Saturday, Eastern, then maybe the notification had gone out. So if that works, that'll work. Shorts are catching up. Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I'm trying to figure out a way to do some of the videos I like doing within a minute to 5 minutes. I did notice that I could just break down a top 10 into 10 1-minute videos and do them as shorts.
I honestly don't like the existence of shorts. I think it's wrong for YouTube to try to catch up to TikTok, because quite frankly, I think TikTok is the scum of the internet at the moment. I think we would all be better off if we just let TikTok die.
Nerdet's another one that if she'd chill, I'd hang out and have a chat with her, but major EVS derangement. I haven't done it. I want to do, what did you call it? An EFAP, every frame a pause?
Every frame a pause, yeah.
I wanted to do that with Nerdet, and I just got to do it someday. Just turn it on and go.
That's the biggest problem. So many ideas and not enough gumption to actually go ahead and do. I do the same thing.
But the way I told Gil is I need to turn this into this, because right now I'll have an idea. Here's one idea. I'll go over this one. No, I'm doing this one. You know, okay, do this. Get it together here. But the thing is, I actually watched it and I made a video, but then when I tried to edit the video together, I just couldn't get it to sync up. So I would be answering a question 5 minutes after, and I was like, God damn it. Why is this not working? And I tossed it. I said, you know what? I'll just do it live sometime. The weird thing about the EVS and Nerdet is I'm not really friends with EVS. I am friends with Nerdet, but I don't agree with Nerdet. I agree with EVS on a lot of the politics, on a lot of the social justice and woke politics. So I think it'll be very interesting to go through that, because here will be a situation where if I'm talking about it, more than likely, I'm not going to be on the side of the person I call friend. So I think that will be an interesting time with that one. I have no idea how folks make it on YouTube these days, the copyright strikes, etc. The algorithm is all over the place. I have no idea either. I used to. I did get to a point where I was able to make as much as if I had had a job outside the house. I finally made this my job. And that's, if you ever watch the first year and a half of my channel, I always ended it. This is the way I'm trying to make a living, so please subscribe, share, do this and do that.
Put money in the hat, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, throw $1 in the tip jar and so forth and so on. And so finally it happened. You know, I did a couple of videos. I did one on Ron Johnson. I did the Captain Marvel racist video. I was doing every freaking comic book origin I put out would hit between 1,000 and 5,000 views on average. And sometimes they would actually go higher than that. The bad comic beatdowns did great. And I was finally doing it. And then that freaking, what do you call him? The Lispy Queer or whatever it was. What was
Carlos Mazza.
Carlos Mazza from Vox.
The apocalypse happened.
At the same time, somebody flagged a video according to you've got this YouTube representative. And he said I must have been flagged. And it happened at the same freaking time. And ever since then, and I thought it was okay. This happens before. It happened before. I've always been on peaks and valleys. That's been my channel. I would grow, and then it would fall, and then I would have to grow it back. No problem. Just put out a few videos. Let's go. And this time it never happened. And so it's been about 3 years now. So here we go. But I think actually I turned my back on you guys. And that was part of the problem. As Venkman's pointed out quite a few times, he says, well, I found you because you were going off on the pros acting like shit. And then you started talking about comics. And he's like, I don't mind because I love talking about comics too. But you probably have a lot of people out there who want to hear you going off on comic book creators that are acting like shit. And if you look at Wes's channel, he's got a point. Wes does it in, he does that, but he disguises his comic book reviews. You know, he'll be like, here, let's talk about this issue of X-Men, New Mutants or whatever. And then he'll rail off on Teenie Howard or whoever's writing, you know, that particular X-Men. And it'll be more so based upon how bad Teenie Howard is than the ins and outs and what makes that comic. And it just goes to show that audience is still there, and I have turned my back. So I have not done my channel too many favors by not doing that on the regular.
Well, I think honestly you self-sabotage yourself a lot because you try to you self-sabotage a lot because you're trying to cater to the audience when the audience in a lot of cases, and I know this is where I'm speaking from, the audience is invested in you, so you can talk about whatever you want to, and if you diversify what you talk about more, I think you'd get a larger audience. But because you're always jumping from one foot to try and figure out how to unravel the mystery of how YouTube works, you often cut yourself short by trying to be a corporate brand instead of using this as your platform, which I think you could stand to do a little bit more.
You know what? No, I'm just kidding.
On that incredibly perhaps insightful note, I have to go because
I actually think you're right, though. I actually think you've got some good points here. So, yeah. So you're going to go off and do a review of Black Adam.
Again, yes.
Again, with Pixel this time.
Yeah, with Pixel and potentially also a frog. So, cheers, guys.
All right. You guys have a good one. Yeah, you may notice some flying solo today. I don't think I've shared it out to the guys. But I was about to go live, and I saw, hey, we're going live again. So they were over at the Geeky Puppet show doing their readings. So that's why I called up Dalton and said, hey, come on. But there you go. I just threw the invite in if anybody wants to jump on there. To them, let's see. Mr. Beast TikTok is going to die because every social media site already has a TikTok feature. I would like to see that just based on the fact that it's run by the Chi-Coms and never been a fan of them. I've actually was talking to a young lady in Gwangju, just a friend. She worked with me at Universal Studios, and I saw soldiers come into her house, and everybody was standing on the side while the soldiers went around and they just checked out their house. What the hell is that? You know, when after they left, one of them did do this bit. And when they left, I was like, what is that? And she told me it was a contraband check. It's like, holy, are you kidding me? That just kind of blew my mind, because you know it does happen, but when you see it, it's like, wow. Let's see. I didn't even know who Carlos Mazzarella was until he got crowded. Yeah, and that BS and heard about it. That was so stupid. And it kills me that this whole ESG score thing has taken off. EVS became too much of a cult of personality. Well, that's what I heard too. Uh-oh. That's mama. There you don't stop there. Keep going, you dumbass bird. Yep. Hey, Black Cat, what's up? You got your mic off.
What's up?
Hey, how you doing? Jay saying Jay's saying he's a big fan of Thinking Critical. So am I. I like him as well. I do make jokes because we would do a live stream and I would say, hey, blah, 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 topic. And then within the next couple of days, both Wes and Perch would make a video. One of them would make a video based on that topic. So for a while I was throwing out, okay, I see what's going on there, guys. You're idea farming off of me. There was really only one time though that I had questions. That's what happened. That's what kind of created the whole Comicsgate thing, is me and Cummings had the same idea. It happens a lot. And by the way, I don't count news. Let's see. No, it was Nerdette's long videos that were the problem. Ethan misled people as usual. What were the long form videos that she was making? Usually they were of the right politics. So yeah, what was it? Let's see. Uncharged to YouTube because he thought they were set. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Love how many people from Hollywood won't have a happy black couple on film. You can't. I'm sorry, but if you are of the woke nature, you can't do that, because if Black people are happy. They don't have a thing to do. The woke people do not have a thing to do. It kills me how many times I turn on the news or I turn on a TV and I see a rich black person telling poor black people that they can't make it in America. Don't make sense to me. Does not make sense to me. Let's see. I think you should combine all 3 channels into one E. You could feature the shorts and puppet show on one channel. Actually, that's not my channel. Literally, Professor Pixel on his own created a puppet that looks like me. That was what I did, by the way, get to meet Puppetine in real life. We went out and had a decent lunch together. You can feature the shorts and puppet show on one channel. Folks like variety. I was actually thinking about that. It does come a time where you got to say to yourself, this isn't working. And I agree with Dalton based on this. Having all of these channels isn't working. I'm not getting those monetized. This one, I'm not doing as many videos on this channel as I used to. I can't do what I used to because when I first started this channel, it was when my wife and I were separated. And you guys were a great substitution because you guys were a Band-Aid on loneliness, so to speak. And it just so happened that anytime I had a thought in my head, let's go live, click, boom, here we go. It was like therapy session. When Gail started living with me, all of a sudden I have someone to go out with. I have somebody to talk to, somebody to be with. And she's, by the way, very understanding about this. She supports this. But the thing is my wife's home. I'm one of those cursed husbands who actually love their wives. So Carlos Mazza is a cretin that will do anything to try to be relevant. He is not and never will be, despite being propped up, says Black Maggot. One thing I got to say that makes me want to punch Carlos Mazza right in the freaking face, because I know I'm not the only one that got hit, is that he says, big damn deal. He doesn't care that he affected my channel and thousands of small channels. On the other hand, Steven Crowder has apologized to me. Not me directly, but on one of his shows, he said, I am sorry for the damage it caused. They were going after me. They didn't hurt me. They hurt you. I apologize. And I thought that was a good thing. You know, is Dan Slott really that awful? I really liked Arkham Living Hell. Okay, as a writer, I think Dan Slott can be good, and he has been horrible. As a person, he had assumed somebody else's identity in order to catch somebody doing bad things. He went after Captain Frugal and Captain Frugal's family and his job. So as a person, Dan Slott is a horrible, horrible person, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure he's very kind to his family. Okay, fine. But the evidence that has been presented to me, he is not a good person. I do know Captain Frugal. I've met Captain Frugal. I've seen Captain Frugal without his mask, kids. He truly is what he represents himself to be. He is an incredibly kind guy who will knock you down with a comment in a second. He's got a sharp wit. You can't take that away from him. But he is what you see, mask and all, you know. And to go after Captain Frugal's family, to go after through Captain Frugal's job, and that's what you're doing. If you try to get me to platform because you don't like what I say, you because you're going after my family. That's how I see it. So also he did assume somebody's identity in order to go after someone. I remember it was on an online thing, and that is despicable. So no, I do not believe that Dan Slott, because of the evidence I have seen, is a decent person.
You went after Jimmy for doing interviews and then hanging out with Wes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. He actually, he went after me. That's the first time I haven't brought it up myself. Jimmy Quirks is a huge fan of Dan Slott. And Dan Slott, basically, he did a blanket insult. And Jimmy Quirk stood up for me. He says, well, what about people like Englentine, you know, who does say kind things, blah, blah. And I don't remember verbatim, but Dan Slott said, well, he's a racist homophobe as well. I never said 2 words to Dan Slott, but he called me by name a racist and a homophobe and all that. So, yeah. Let's see. I like, okay, hold on. Let me scroll down a little bit. Dan Slott is hit and miss and miss comics writing wise. Yeah, he's done good things. I liked his She-Hulk, and I liked his Fantastic Four for a few issues. Actually, I just saw this. Austin P's asking what's the most recent Perch Poach video. I haven't seen one recently. The last one has got to be months ago. Miss So saying Perch definitely borrows from you. Okay, maybe Miss So could tell you. Yeah, hey, have a going, Dark Admiral. Sorry I missed when you took off. There was a happy black couple in Logan, then they killed him. LeBron James being black in America today. Shut up already. It kills me. It's like I said, you get rich black people telling poor black people that they can't make it in America. I do remember once Barack Obama gave a speech where he basically said, look at me, now you do it. And that's the way it should have been. Barack Obama should have been a shining beacon on the hill saying that it's done. If you could do it too. He did one speech like that. And after that, it was like, oh my gosh, this guy could have been my kid. Look how bad black people are treated in America. You cannot make it if you're a black guy in America. That's not the speech we needed from Barack Obama. That's not the speech Black Americans needed from Barack Obama. I had a conversation with just some guy, and where I mentioned, I said there's the huge problem with Black America is they've been giving a poor self-esteem as a race. And that comes from decades and decades and decades and decades of hearing that black people can't make it in America, which is complete bullshit because black people from other countries come to America and they thrive. They thrive better than Black Americans do. It's but now I'm getting far too off on politics there. Haven't read any Dan Slott says Black Maggot in the last few years, generally because of his poor takes on characters 5 to 10 years ago. I just haven't seen him learning anything about characters he erodes. Yeah, and one of the worst things about comic books these days is the consistent, what do they call it? They break them down. Black Cat, what is that? I hate it. Deconstruction. Yeah, they deconstruct the heroes, but they never build them back into anything. And as soon as they do that, here comes a new creative team. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna deconstruct them again, bring them back to basics. Nothing wrong with loving your wife. What you saying, Jay? No, I'm just kidding. What a crime, a couple that loves each other. Let's say they just said Nerdet's long videos reuse content. Yeah, that they have been going after that. I was actually told that about 2 years ago from Umbrella Guy. If you've got something with other people's content, you may want to get rid of it because they're going to be coming down hard on it. I guess it just took them that long to get to them. I got a copyright strike for a video that's been up for about 4 years now recently. Not a strike, but a claim. Let's see. Slot Silver Surfer with Mike Allred is really good. I agree with that. And I'm an Allred nerd. Let's see. Captain Frugal probably looks like Jeremy Renner. Okay. Let's see. Whenever he did that backstage months ago with the whole Daily Wire crew of hosts and they got on the topic of relationships and marriage, I wish that lasted forever. Wait, I missed something.
I think they're talking about Jordan Peterson.
Oh, Jordan Peterson. Yeah. Yeah, I like him. Oh, hey, points to Jay for for recognizing Grease 2 there with a deconstruction. I grew up around other blacks with that victim mentality, and my parents specifically taught against that. I'm not trying to hear that victim BS anymore. Rhaegar, thank you very much, by the way, for taking things the way I mean them. And I do believe what I just said about the low self-esteem. What it needs to stop. And I know that doesn't say anything. Of course, everybody knows it. Well, at least we know it needs to stop. It's I don't know. I tell people, or at least I've told people this for a while now, because I kind of got sick of using the left's language anymore. You know, I'm just done with it. And so now I say, I'll say, if you are using race in 2022, if you're using race as the reason you're not succeeding, that's on you, because nobody gives a seriously. Twitter cares, but honestly, when you're going about your day, you made me a dumbass. You're never going to get rid of racists, but racism's dead, and it's been dead for decades. I had this debate on Nerdy's channel, because they were like, "Oh, this guy is saying that it can't be." You know, the thing is if somebody says something racist, we ostracize them. We put them out, and I mean real racism. Not, oh, I didn't really care for Black Panther. Racist. No, that's not a racist comment. But if there's real racism, as a society, we go after it. We try to kill that racism, or we'll call out that racist if it's real racism. So I do say that racism, as what the actual definition is dead. And maybe that's why they need to redefine it and say that it's everywhere now. No, I'm sorry. And if you're using race as the reason why you're not succeeding, that's on you. That is on you. Okay, let's see how many people just got pissed off at me. Let's see, just out of curiosity, do you still make money from the channel? No, I do not. Or will you have to supplement with a regular job eventually again? Okay, I'm making some money as far as the auction is concerned. The channel does not make money anymore. I do appreciate occasionally Rhaegar or somebody will throw up some super chats or something like that. But they don't pay out until you make $100. So on average, every other month, I get some money from the channel. It used to be where I was making money every month, and at the time of the Carlo Mazzo, whatever his name was, and the guy said I got flagged, I was making around $2,000 a month. Okay, that's what I would get because I'm a Joe job guy. I've never been rich. I've only had a couple of jobs in my entire life that paid more than minimum wage. And that would more than likely be the job that I got, would pay $2,000 a month. And that's where I was at while the channel got destroyed. Haven't been able to build it back. Some months are better than others, but I'm generally making between $45 and $100 a month off the channel anymore. So I do the auctions. And that's how that happens. So that's why I really do say, hey, guys, if you can, please when a live stream gets put on, please just comment, because that does help the algorithm to actually share out beyond what's being shared now. And that's why I sometimes e-bag. But I am trying to get a job. A very wise man named Dash on Comics pointed out a problem I may have with the newest one, but I was trying to get a job reading books for Amazon, because that can pay, but you do have to audition. So since I use my voice, since I'm used to talking to people, figure, okay, let's go see if I can't make a couple of bucks there. So I'm waiting to see if I can do that. Okay, let's see what we got. The purpose of deconstructionist postmodernists is never to break down and rebuild. It's only to corrupt and destroy. That's all they can do. They cannot create, says Black Maggot. And that has been demonstrated, hasn't it? My opinion of Dan Slott went from the name I heard occasionally from comic readers to what a lazy time waster. You know what, really, as far as lazy, Disney had a documentary where it was just pointed out that Dan Slott's lazy. Let's see. Racism isn't dead in the West. It was on life support for a century, and politicians slowly brought it back and called the non-racist racist. He may be right. That may be a little asterisk I need to put up there. Racism was dead for quite a while, and you were ostracized if you did something or said something racist. Nowadays, it is celebrated, so long as you are on the right side of the political spectrum. Mike Wallace to Morgan Freeman, how do we end? Stop talking about it. That is true. Nobody gives a shit in real life. Nobody gives a shit because the rent is due on the 1st. And you being black, me being white, does not change the fact. Because of Miracle and Newspeak, 2 + 2 can indeed be 5. Oh, I heard that. Yeah, it's bullshit. Are you somewhat excited for Ant-Man 3? I am very excited for Ant-Man 3. That's one of the few things I am actively excited for. I love the character. And I really do enjoy the movies. What the hell do I have in my pocket? I really do enjoy the movies. I just think they're a lot of fun. What the hell? Do I have a hidden pocket? What's going on? Okay, there it is. There it is. Oh, it's the car keys. Okay, it was jabbing me in the leg. But when I first saw the first Ant-Man, I liked it, of course. It's a heist film. That's kind of cool. Woo! And I thought that the second one was more of a farce, kind of like if you ever watched a movie called What's Up, Doc? Barbara Streisand, Ryan O'Neal. Funny movie. And that movie really reminded me of it. So it really was using the superhero genre to tell or to do a movie in another movie genre. And I kind of enjoyed that. And I love the character. By the way, somebody who's a shithead on Twitter is Max Bemis, and he's been doing this Ant-Man comic, and this has been a lot of fun. But yeah, I do. I'm a fan of the character. I have fun with it. I wish they would do better with the unreadable Wasp, but you know what you're gonna do. Are you excited for James Gunn taking over DC? Asks Rhaegar. I'll tell you what, I am, because I'm very interested in seeing how he treats the DC universe. He could be a Jeff Johns comic, but just movie style, or he could be Waikiki or whatever his name is, who he could just steer the whole ship into a freaking cliff. Either way, it's going to be interesting. I hope that James Gunn respects the characters enough to understand you cannot be Suicide Squad with every character. Taika Waititi, I think, look, I love the movie We Live in Shadows. Funny as hell. Thor is not We Live in Shadows. Throw in a little bit of humor, that's great. Wreck every dramatic moment, that's not so great. Unfortunately, Morgan Freeman recanted his statement. Well, damn, that sucks. Most men in Hollywood have no spines. Not surprised. I remember Marvel Mangaverse not being too good, but I wonder how well a Marvel anime might do. They did that too, I remember. That was all right. Let's see, Rhaegar saying, I think Gunn can do some good things. I'm hopeful about it, yeah. And there are at least 6 Marvel anime. Yeah, I remember they did Wolverine and X-Men and something else. I remember seeing those a while back.
Wolverine, X-Men, Blade, and there was this Avengers movie. I forgot the other ones.
Yeah, I remember for a little bit you would get these Avengers movies like off to the side. They just didn't really fit with the other cartoons. One was a Black Widow and Punisher movie. Pretty good. I enjoyed it. It just wasn't your typical Avengers stuff.
That was just a one-shot movie. Like the one-shot graphic novels. They just did it in like a movie.
It was fun. I enjoyed it anyway. Michael Hart says, I really don't like James Gunn's Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. Well, not everything is for everybody. I loved them. So, yeah. Hey, lucky us. Those of us who liked it, lucky us. That's what I always say. If I don't like something you did, you win. You spent the time. You spent the money. You liked it. I didn't. So, yeah, you win. But yeah, give him a shot, Glenzer. Some of them are good, some are bad. You know, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? All righty. So, gee, anything else to talk about? Oh, let's see. I've actually kind of had fun tonight. Evil Black Cat, how long have you been around the whole Comicsgate thing?
I was around a little bit in 2017, but then college took over, and I came back around when the House of X Powers of 10 started. Like, that's when I...
Go ahead.
Yeah, that was when Wes and the Thinking Critical shows were doing the live streams, and Tom King's Batman 60, I just dropped the series. And I would just go around the channels, see the reviews, whether it was worth picking up or not. So that's when I came back. Then the House of 10 Powers of things started happening, and they were doing the live shows. And then I just
never got into that.
Yeah.
When Hoxpox came out, I just didn't get it. I was, what? Did you just say you cured death? I'm sorry, then no story means anything. There's no stakes to anything. So yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, it was originally, there was a database, like you had to, one, they had a database, two, they had like the mutants, there were 5 mutants that had to be there, so just threaten one of the 5 or destroy the database. They could have done a story around that, or they could have done something like the 6th Day with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where there's 2 versions of the same character, and like, who's the real one, who's the clone one, are they both clones? Yeah. So who lives, who dies, or do they both interact? Now, if Hickman would have done stories like that, that could have been interesting, but they gave it to people like Howard and Ayala and stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't care for it. Right from the very beginning, I didn't care for Hoxpox.
I dropped out when the final chapter, like 3 or 4 pages, maybe 46 pages, were the same as chapter 2.
Yeah.
And they just they had the conversation twice. They were doing that, but like 3 or 4 pages, okay, 6 pages, that's way too much for a $6 comic. I think it was 6 back then.
Yeah, that's getting something too. I was talking to the young lady that ran the register at the comic shop this week. I bought a handful of new books, and I was like, really, I just want to cut this down to just a few issues or a few titles anymore. I only want the subscription so I can get the discount on the back issues. Sometimes they have sales that actually help out the auction. I'm not all that excited about new comics anymore. You know, it's just not a thing. And there's other ways to get them. You know, so occasionally something good comes along. I've been enjoying this story here. It's called Nice House on a Lake. That being said, I really do think it's about time you wrap this up there, James. You know, it's a James Tynion book. Yeah, okay, we've gone in a circle here. It's time to lead us somewhere else. Or yeah, but that's just me. So be yo ho, pirate's life for me. Yeah, that's basically it. There's still things you could do with a story with immortal humans. That's true. And next Wednesday should be an interesting time. Yeah, it should be an interesting time. I'm fingers crossed it goes in a good direction. So we'll see. We'll see. As far as I think it's weird that they're telling us that already that the Republicans are going to cheat, and I think it's weird that we are being told by people that it's bad to deny an election. that an election had been won legitimately. It's bad to say, no, that's not right. When the in America has it ever been wrong to criticize your government? I didn't like that when people were going after people who would speak bad about Trump. I mean, if you're telling the truth, do it. But it's weird that we've got people who really should be adamantly against the censorship that they're advocating for. You actually have, I don't care if your politics lean left. You're advocating for censorship. It's wrong. You know, I understand that if you live in a free society, you got to take the good and the bad together. So if you agree that you want free speech, then you have to deal with that idiot lady on The View who's always racist, or they fired one young lady was just freaking racist. Now, I would say this, the black girl that got fired from MSNBC, at least she was racist towards white people. Okay, there's a divide in some places. She's one race and she's going after another race. That's your classic racist, fine. But that Sunny something or other, she hates black people too. I listened to her speak and it just kills me. Like it deadens something that she's got that platform. And someone that I respected, Whoopi Goldberg, if you've ever listened to her in the 80s and 90s, she's got a brain in her head, or at least she used to. Maybe it's gone away with age, but she's not calling her out on it. And that's the weird thing. And this Sunny lady, I have never heard anyone who advocates the weakness of black people more than that woman does. It kills me to hear that. And to not hear any backlash on it from the people that she's working around. Of course, you got, what's her name, the Joy Behar, who just said, yeah, you're right. And she thinks that she's saying something positive, but no, and damn near anytime you hear it, oh, well, you think the white supremacist, what? Do you really believe the black people are that fucking weak that we have that kind of control? I don't know. Let's see. They're already saying election results are going to be late again. Yeah, that's a bullshit. Look, I'm 52. Every freaking election that I've been a part of up until 2020, the votes could be counted on that fucking night. It's bullshit. According to some, next Tuesday, democracy will die. The Yahtzees will rule again, and Lizzo will become thin. Probably not the last one. Yeah. I like new crowdfunded comics, that is. There are some. I like some independents that are kind of fun. Every Trump joke on Will and Grace was a lie, for the most part. The left has gone power mad. Sunny Hostin. Okay, that's her name. Everything they blame others of, they probably are on their way. Jay Behar is the dumbest person on TV. Well, I would go with Sunny, but Jay Behar probably, yeah, I could see that. Anyway, we're getting into real world politics, and all of the stuff I'm saying right now is the stuff that gets people shadow banned and everything. So that's always fun. Yay. So tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern time, we're going to have ourselves a comic book auction. Please join us for that. I don't know what's going on tonight at the other channels. And I can't promise. I wish I could. I want to start doing more stuff. But I'll try to get on Sunday so we can talk about things and everything. I found it hilarious how Don Lemon and MSNBC got so triggered. The Arizona Republican joking about Pelosi getting protection except for her house. They got mad that the mob left. I think a lot of people believe that this was a tryst that went wrong. From what I've heard anyway. I could go off on Sunny Hostin, but she is not really worth it. She is a lawyer. That's all you need to know. That's kind of sad. It really is. More than Kathy Griffin. What? Oh, yeah. Kathy Griffin's a dumbass, too. I used to find her funny. I mean, but that happened with the Trump thing. It's like we lost a lot of comedians because they refused to be funny. Jack Irons is good. Umbrella Guy stuff is fun. Jan Durzima, Hexer Dusk was awesome. There's some great stuff out there. Umbrella Guy's doing things. I thought he disappeared. Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
Yeah, it's like maybe you should try getting in contact with him. Like maybe he wasn't replying back because he didn't have his mail. He wasn't getting his mails.
Wait, what?
It's a joke on him taking a baseball bat to his own mailbox.
Oh, that's right. That's right. The Umbrella Guy, right, with the mailbox. I forgot all about that. Yeah, Umbrella Guy took a baseball bat to his own mailbox and then asked his followers, could you pay for a new mailbox? Got a shit ton of money, too. So, yeah. Let's see. Superman's awesome. Just saying. I like the Action Comics. You're a lawyer. I'm already a blood-sucking parasite. All I needed was a briefcase, the B movie. That's funny. Crowdfunding comics favor the characters over the customers, or creators over the customers. That is actually something that I debated in with EVS. I said, what you're doing by focusing on the creator, you're asking the customer to become beholden to you. And people will see it like that. And they did. I don't know if they still do, but I saw messages. Oh, you should go here. You're not a good Comicsgater if you're buying Marvel and DC. No, that's bullshit. Buy whatever you want. The whole purpose is to show people that you are the customer base, that you are the people that they should be listening to. Did you see that tweet Musk trolling AOC about the $8 a month? Yeah. I've actually enjoyed this. I'm thinking about paying the $8 a month. Why not? We didn't lose them. They just got revealed for their true character. What are we talking about?
The comedians.
Okay.
Comedians.
Yeah. Read Common America, Black Hop, Soul Finder, Vestry, and Sarai says Ethereal Dragon. That is good advice. Wow, Tug vandalized his own property. That was so long ago, dude. Look, there is a history to Comicsgate. There's a lot of stuff that happened. There is Austin P brings up a good point. Can I afford the $8? I would have to cut off like Netflix or something. Meant the character, not the book. Definitely not Son of Kal-El. Damn straight not Son of Kal-El. That book sucked. I was one of the few people who said I didn't care that they made John gay. I really don't. We had no idea of John's sexuality beforehand. I just think it was bullshit that they aged him up and we didn't get the come of age story. And what we did get was bullshit. It was and once again, don't give a gay character, a black character, of anything of that sort to somebody who is an SJW or woke. It's not going to work out because they're going to treat them like a victim. And in this case, they're going to have a guy in love with a dude in a freaking cult. Yeah. Netflix. Oh yes, I forgot about that company 2 years ago when I got rid of mine. Yeah, I did a purge as well. For a while there, I was getting everything, and I realized I was paying as much as I did for cable. Now I juggle. So they'll be like, "Oh, you could get you can get Cinemax for 6 months at only $2." All right, yeah, I'll pay $2 a month for Cinemax for 6 months. So whenever they have a sale like that, I'll jump on it. But otherwise, I dropped everything. Except for Netflix and the Disney Hulu and the Amazon Prime. Oh, and I just recently, because Apple said they were only $5 and I wanted to watch the Charlie Brown special, The Great Pumpkin. So like last week, I paid $5 to have them for a month. Figured it was $3 to rent the special, so I'll get the other stuff for $5. What wave I don't know. What wave of CG are they on now? I don't know if they count it anymore. It's just the end game now, right? Ethan is CG, and whoever's under his umbrella at this point in time is CG as well. Am I reading that right?
Didn't someone copyright CG?
Wasn't that Pestry Pin something or other? Somebody found a video of him being railed by his wife or something like that. That became the big story.
Yeah,
He,
that
he
guy.
used to do anti-CG videos. Go on ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think he was anti-CG. I think when the Civil War happened, like they became two factions.
Ah, okay. Well, he should have known he was going to lose that one. Physical media for the win. I agree, Austin P. I agree with that. I like getting the superhero movies. I get those mostly. Let's see. Dragon Press super diverse, but is good, unlike some shows, says Ethereal Dragon. And Rhaegar saying, haven't owned Netflix since 2014, but I borrow a friend's account. Preston Poulter, thank you, One Slick. Yeah, I remember him. But what you gonna do? It was a time. I mean, it was good, and then fighting started. You know, you have your idea of what it's supposed to be. I have my idea of what it's supposed to be. Let's go after. I made a video, and somebody thought Nerd Wonder was a reporter that was an anti-CG reporter. And I got a whole bunch of people onto me, especially when my brother, he did not like Captain Cummings, and they got into arguments all the time. But my brother, earlier than I did, had that same memory thing where you say one thing, but you mean another. And he said, well, you know, diversity in comics can kiss my ass or something like that. And my phone, I got woken from my phone. It was like on the freaking, it sounded like a vibrator on my desk. I'm like, what the hell? And I see all these messages. So I go on and diversity in comics. It was diversity. You know what he did? He would say something and then he blocked me. And then he unblocked me to say something and then he blocked me. I thought that, come on, dude. He dropped out of the DM and he says, I thought we were good. I would say good things about your channel. I had no idea what happened. I was trying to find what happened. And it was because of the video I made. What video did I make? I don't know what video I made. What the hell are you talking about? And then it turns out what it was we had a conversation. And this Melissa Morgue thing turned out to be a guy that was posing as this reporter, Melissa Morgue. And they said that they had just watched 35 hours of diversity in comics. And I was like, wow, I can't even think of 35 hours of something fun that I would like to do. And I was making a sex joke, you know, and I wouldn't even want to have sex for 35 hours straight, much less watch a YouTube videos for 35 hours straight. And I said, why would you do that? And Nerdette, I forget what she said, but it was something along the lines of misogyny or something like that. So what happened was Diversity in Comics followers thought that Nerdette was Melissa Morgue and that I had them on and we were putting Diversity in Comics down. Yeah, it's weird time. It's Ethan Gate now, sadly. Yeah, it's his show. Yeah. What are you talking about? Are you watching a Richard Meyer video as a roller coaster of fun? Yeah, watching 35 videos in a row. That 35 hours worth. Yeah. Melissa Morgue, that goes back, says Undead Clint. Yeah, I know. That's what tonight's been about, I guess. I've been rehashing. I don't know. I watched Diversity in Comics videos for a while, but I found myself fast forwarding a lot. And look, I get it. He built a community by being who he is. He knows how to play this game. But I'm very much a get to the point. Hey, true believers, England teen here. We're going to be talking about the nice house on the lake. Here's about this, blah, blah, blah. Let's go. I don't have a long introduction. I don't have that. That's it. Hey, true believers, England teen here with a review of Nice House on the Lake. And boom, I get into the review. Diversity in comics. We'll put on the thumbnail. We're going to talk about Nice House on the Lake. Okay, video starts. Well, today I was out walking down the street. I was going to go to the bank, but then I thought about the fact that I was going to have a coffee. And then I was thinking, you know what, coffee would be good, but I haven't had a frappe in a while. So I decided I'm going to have a frappe. And then when I get up there, they said that the ice machine was down, but they could actually just make a very cold blah, blah. And I could have a coffee without that. I'm thinking, wow. A coffee where it's just cold and bland and I couldn't do that. So I turn around. I figure, what the heck? I'm going to go to a coffee shop across the street because I'm really involved in wanting to get a frappe. So as I'm walking across the street, I noticed there's a Buick, and in this Buick, there's like 15 Mexican guys, and for some reason, a French poodle. Now I've seen Mexican guys all over, but it was like, why a French poodle? It just looked like it was a little bit out of place having this French poodle here. So I'm wondering about, of course, I'm staring a little bit too hard. Now, all of a sudden, all of these guys are looking at me like, oh my gosh, I don't know what he's doing here. And then I end up going into the coffee shop. I'm thinking, okay, fine, sure, whatever. Okay, so I walk up, I ask for my frappe, I get my frappe, I turn around, and there is that French poodle. But the Mexican guys weren't being found. So I thought, oh, wait a second. I know whose dog this is. So I decided I'm going to lead them to find the dog. So I take him. He's still attached to the leash. I just grab the leash. I walk around, and I'm looking for these Mexican guys in the Buick. And I'm not seeing. And then, oh, wait, no, across the street, I see a Buick. Okay. So let me go on over. I'm going to be taking this dog over to these Mexican guys driving in the Buick. And I find them. I say, here's your dog. Oh, and yeah, this is pretty good. And that used to be a diversity in comics review to me. So I was like, okay, I'm done.
But which one got more views?
I know, right? Hey, he built himself a big ass channel doing that. So what do I know? But I stopped. I can't do this anymore. So yeah. Zach's gotten a lot better about getting to the point, says Jay. The one thing I'm not seeing here, though, is you're full of shit. He never does that. I don't know about all that drama. All I know is that EVS was entertaining for a while after I saw Last Jedi, and I was happy to see people calling out all the wokeness. Yeah, actually, I've got a Rose Tico pop signed by Ethan Van Sciver. Your boy Zach had great comic videos, but his movie tastes are weird, says Rhaegar. DNC has weird rants. Yeah, he did. He who says anime is clearly satanic. You think? Okay. Zach's got a lot better about getting to the point. I only really watch Richard Meyer now when he does comics before SJW videos. Still rambles while playing Meyer at 3 times speed. So a regular coffee. I didn't know. I made that up from beginning to end. I did not have that. It wasn't like that. I had that in my pocket waiting to go. So remember the damn dog. That was painful. What the heck is a frappe? Is that what the girls keep getting at Starbucks? It's like ice slushy, isn't it? A coffee slushy? That's what I always thought it was. It's the drink that looks like a dessert, right? Yeah, I hate coffee, by the way. I am just one of those people. I'm the person who can watch Elf and get it, where he's like, yeah, that's me. I'm a tea guy. Trying to figure out why Frosk would attack Cavill seemed random to me, but then she does come off as toxic. I think maybe because a while back when the Me Too movement started, he said something about it's too dangerous to date now because women can change their mind and you can lose your career. He's not wrong. Hey, Dominic Powell, what's up? Just stop, Ellen. Zach was very stream of conscious, but that was cool to me because I used to game while listening. Hey, yeah, like Black Cat said, his channel went this way. My channel went that way. So who am I to say? He should write a comic if he could pull that out of his head at that speed. Dominic saying he's a T guy as well. My phone screen just did a haunted flicker to let me know who vanished. Oh, did somebody vanish? Frosk is crying out for help. That's why she attacked Cavill. It's a weird thing to do. By all admittance, he's a good guy. So I don't know. I really do think it had something to do with she was remembering. Oh, remember the Me Too thing that he said women would do this? The Me Too movement, I think, actually caused problems for women, but I don't know. I'm not a woman. What can I say?
I think it's because the news was he's coming back as Superman, so he's relevant. Attacking him might make her relevant again.
Yeah, that could actually be it. So yeah, jump on that. Maybe we can get something going. It's like what's his name? The guy from Friends, Chandler, going after Keanu Reeves. I was talking to my wife. Is like, oh my gosh, Chandler. He was getting so much love because he went through his addiction phase. He came out not good. He's affected physically, and he had a lot of people on his side, and then he freaking went after Keanu Reeves. You can't go after Keanu Reeves. You can't do it. I mean, you can. It's a free country, but you're not going to win that particular battle going after Keanu Reeves. It's just not going to work. She also called The Witcher a whatever show because G4 was so great. I didn't even know it was back on the air until she had her meltdown. Froska's broken person they only know to make unhappy. I have no idea who Frisk is. Never watched G4. Like I said, I didn't know. Froska's grasping at straws to stay relevant. She also went after Gina Carano. Oh my gosh. I would have loved, I didn't see it. I saw the rerun and all that kind of stuff. But I would have loved just for one of those guys to look at her and go, I'd bang you. She made this whole thing about how Olivia Munn wasn't on freaking G4 to be eye candy. Yeah, she freaking was. All righty. So was the other one. What was her name? Something Webb? Morgan Webb. Yeah, they were the eye candy. All right. What's his name was not the eye candy. He was barely the one you wanted to watch anyway. I wonder what Carano is going to do after Terror on the Prairie. Did you see that movie? That was actually a pretty good movie. I like that. So far, the stuff that the Daily Wire has put out has been pretty good. The only one I thought was iffy. There was a superhero movie with Carrie Elways. It was all right. I wasn't thrilled with it. If you allow Boom Studios Power Rangers for Thunderdome, Dominic Powell and I are willing to do it. Okay, if I can think of some questions and all, it would just on that one. That's like a Doug Ernst told me he would come on Thunderdome if I made it all about Spider-Man, because that's all he knows. So, and that's part of the problem, because I was in it, when you get a topic you really don't know about, so you got to fake it. Yeah. The Hyperions were hilarious. What are you talking about? Hey, you know what? Like I said, you like something a little better than I did. That's all. But the one I really liked was what was the one with the mom in the closet? She and her daughter was caught outside with a bad guy. That was a good thriller. And I liked the Run, Hide, Fight, the one that was in the school shooting. That was pretty good. And the prayer one. Unhappy and we'll take. Okay, hold on. Froska's classic SJW, unhappy and will take people down to their level. Yeah. Shut in. Yeah. And I like I haven't seen the new documentary about Black Lives Matter. I want to check that out. I thought What is a Woman was pretty damn good. Unfortunately, with that movie though, you see a lot of it in the previews and the clips beforehand. I don't know if they've served themselves well, if they want to make it about their streaming service, to put all of the clips in What is a Woman out that they did. Frost looking like Logan Paul after a boxing match. Yeah, she's all right. Oh, excuse me. All righty, kids. I'm going to call an end to this and go down and actually talk to the wife. But thanks for hanging out while I ranted. Really, that was very appreciative. We started off in an article we never finished. I want to watch What is a Man next. That would be in a different. That would be in a different context, wouldn't it? I mean, because people say, "What is it? Only is being a man only required to have a penis? Because, you know, we say act like a man. That, you know, you don't have to have a penis, I guess, to act like a man. But no, there's obviously physically, yes. But what does it mean mentally and emotionally to be a man? I don't know. That's a different kind of question. I know with my family, as far as like if you have a problem, you got 3 days to cry about it. And if you don't do anything by then, or if you're not on the road to fixing the problem, you're accepting it. So shut the fuck up. You're bothering people. That's how I was raised. I don't know. Anyway, just come on in and let's chat tomorrow while we're selling some comics at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Otherwise, like I said, I do know that they do a reading over at Geeky Puppet Show. And on Sundays, I'm going to try to have something on Sunday. Maybe a themed Thunderdome would boost better, Chrononaut says. I think so. I think so. What is an election? That's a documentary. And thanks for hanging out with us. And as always, thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good night, kids.
Later, people.